Bricks and Minifigs is your one-stop shop for all things LEGO. Hit the link below to find a store near you.
My name is Jason Miller. I'm a member of Charm City Lug, and this is my basically my version of episode 13 of the Andor series, so the Imperial response to the Rix Road riots. So if you've seen the series and everything, you'll notice like the final episode was basically the civilian population has revolted against the Empire, kind of whooped their rears and kicked them, starting to kick them off the planet and everything. And I'm a big Rogue One fan, so I have a massive Scarif Battalion. So the Scarif Battalion, the story on this, has deployed to Ferrix to quell this little revolution going on. So basically, there's a little over 1,600 figs on the board. Every one of these builds are all custom builds. So there's no sets or anything. Actually, the 2 TIE bombers are sets, sorry. But everything else is all custom mocks.
That's incredible. Take us through some of those if you can, then we kind of work our way around the layout.
Yep. So in this era of Star Wars, you'll see like the Imperial tanks and everything used. You saw them in Rogue One, and along with the walkers in Rogue One and everything. So it's like that same time frame going on. The Empire was also using like basically shields and everything for riot control, things like that. So you'll see those. Those are all custom shields on all of those with the Imperial logos printed on them. Like these cars are actually these are from a builder on Rebrickable. So these are his design. It's incredibly accurate. I actually think Brick Vault actually picked up the plans to start selling as well. So great build. Highly recommend people get that. And then of course you have the Scarif troopers, and there's quite a few of them here. But the next thing is basically I put cargo containers because of course you're going to deploy an army that's going to have a lot of cargo, a lot of supplies and everything. So I did several different designs of cargo containers, different supplies for that. I actually built the transport there back during Rogue One. So it's been sitting in my basement on a shelf for 7 years. This is its first show.
Talk a little about some of the pieces and techniques you use there.
A lot of the parts are actually like one of a kind. They were in only one set. So to like rebuild that or something would almost be impossible today. The expense would be crazy and everything. But it's a giant hull and everything with a lot of hinge parts. A lot of things are hanging off of it to give you all those angles and shapes. But that's how I did that. Kind of the same way for the Imperial landers. There's a lot of different versions of them out there, and I took a lot of concept art to make those and everything. The 2 platforms, if you've seen Andor and everything, you'll notice there's 2 different platforms there, and they're separated by a silo, so I had to put that in. And a lot of people's like, oh my gosh, you like added that in. That's cool little like detail.
And talk about the platforms themselves, because those also have some really great kind of techniques and stuff to create those.
Yeah, so the lower platform right here, I mean, they're all lit, they're all lighted and everything. And so, but the bigger platform over there has greebling all the way around it. And that took days. It took days to get done. But the reward is worth it because it gives you that look, that finished look of like total what Star Wars is. And Star Wars just has tons and tons and tons of those little details.
And then what is the overall dimensions of this entire layout?
The overall dimensions, it is the giant 48 by 48 base plates, and it is 6 by 10. So a total of 60 gray base plates in size.
That's incredible. And how did you do kind of the landscaping itself? What were some of the color choices and parts you used there?
So the color mimics Ferrix on the dark orange, the nougat and everything. And basically, in order to do it, I chose about 10 different parts. I threw them all in a bucket, and then I just blindly was picking and choosing. So there's absolute randomness across everything.
And as we look out at you said like tremendous amounts of minifigures here. What did it take to kind of lay all these out? Did you do all? What was that process like?
Yep, so they all came in a bin, and it took me almost an entire day to place everyone. But I also have to thank a couple folks. Kat, other folks helped me get those on there. I made Kat actually get up here so she could reach the ones better. So it made it a lot easier.
They all look so nice, but I couldn't help but notice in the second column there, like right in the middle, there's one looking backwards? How'd that happen?
That's just my lug friends and everything kind of playing some jokes on me to see. And then I just noticed like someone put a gold frog on one of the landers over there. So they keep doing these little things to like get me because they know I'm a little OCD. But there's also now a backwards one in this column right here. So, but one of the things I did to get the straight rows, whenever I was actually building these out, there is a jumper plate on underneath every one of those stormtroopers to get those perfect rows and columns. So we had already, whenever I built it, I already had it mapped out where every trooper would go. So whenever we came in here to place them, I had a paper that I like drew out where every one of them went. So I was able to like hand it off to a couple folks to help me put figs down. Made it a lot faster. So.
And then what do we have happening in kind of the far corner, some of those buildings and vehicles over there?
Yep, so right over there we have basically the command bunker. You have the Imperial officer in charge basically issuing out orders to all the folks to basically take their squads and everything out in town and squash this rebellion.
And you said this was based on the Andor show, so do you anticipate this kind of being a future plot line? Where do you hope this goes?
Yeah, so hopefully Dave Filoni is watching this and watching you guys.
He watches, I think, all of our videos.
Oh, I'm sure he does. So Dave Filoni, I've now written your script for episode 13, so you just need to take it and run with it and actually put it up on the big screen for us.
And then you mentioned there's lights in here. What types of lights or brands do you use for your builds?
So all of the lighting is done from Bevan's Bricks. Like you can go to bevansbricks.com and get all these lights and everything, but I really like them. They're basically the smallest lines you can get, so they're easy. And you'll see like these boxes, like these container boxes hanging around on the edge, which is good for a prop, but the lighting also runs through them easy, and it's a great way to camouflage the lights. But they're super bright LEDs. This lit up at nighttime is absolutely beautiful and stunning. It's just, it looks like if we had smoke, it would have been a perfect scene from the movie. So,
with a build this size, do you have this actually fully laid out at your house, or is this the first time you've had it all together?
Nope, this was in my basement. I have a bunch of tables, and I had it fully laid out. Yep, I know. I'm lucky.
No, that's fantastic. And then I think one of the main questions a lot of people have with a layout like this is, where do you get all these figures from? So how many years have you been collecting these, and kind of where have you picked a lot of these up from?
So all the Scarif troopers came out during Rogue One. These are all from that Scarif set. So basically, but also Cassian Andor and a Jyn Erso fig came with it, so I just sold all those off. So I don't need 100 Cassian Andors and 100 Jyn Ersos. But I was able to actually pick those up on sale because no one was really buying them at the time. And I'm like, I love the movie. I love these figs. I'm going to scoop all of them up. And I did. So that's where almost all the shore troopers came from. And then almost all the Imperials came from either Rebel sets or the newer Mandalorian show. And most of those were gobbled up. Well, I mean, I bought tons of battle packs from Rebels. And that's where I have an army of Death Troopers of about 300 strong. So I didn't think I needed that many Death Troopers here. But so that's where a lot of probably a couple columns of the Stormtroopers came from. And then the other Stormtroopers are all from the new Mandalorian sets from that troop transport they did. So, and I gobbled those up off Bricklink. So, and at one time they were really cheap because there were so many. But now, like, I think people like me bought so many, we've now inflated the price. Sorry, everyone. But
so do you have any plans for the future in terms of more Star Wars within kind of the Andor universe, or going in other directions?
Yep. So next year, I don't want to tell you what it is. It's going to be a surprise. But the next year's Star Wars build is going to be, it's still going to be 6 across, but it will be 12 long instead of 10 long. So it'll be a little bit bigger. A lot more ships, a lot more action and motion, because we're going to have gun turrets. Yeah, Josh will like that. But anyway, yep, so it'll be bigger, better.
Okay. Love to hear it. Fantastic work. Thanks for bringing this all out to the show here. I appreciate it.
Yep, thanks. Enjoy it.